Hey, it's Evan from the Action Points podcast. I'll be using these Splat loadout videos to look at weapon and gear combinations for Splatoon. In this video, I'll be looking at a Splat loadout I like to call the Snipe Bomber. It doesn't actually involve a charger or a sniper, but involves long-distance use of bombs. It has a few handy features built into the gear to make it a well-rounded method of attack, involving area control, range, and ink output. I'll be demoing this setup by looking at an S-rank Splat Zones match and see where it was effective and where players will need to be vigilant. First, let's unpack what the Snipe Bomber is. There are two main weapons you want to choose between for this loadout. The Lunar Blaster Neo, with its Splat Bomb sub-weapon and Splat Bomb Rush super, and the Splashomatic, with its Suction Bombs and Suction Bomb Rush. The weapon used for this setup will depend on whether you prefer blasters or shooters, and whether you can manage the physics of the Splat Bombs or prefer the precision of the Suction Bombs. In terms of gear, you're going to want to rock the Ninja Squid as your t-shirt main, and then have the equivalent of 2 mains worth of the Bomb Range Up ability. So either 2 main Bomb Range Up, or around 6 subs. For my setup, I've included triple sub Ink Speed Up to counter the slowdown that comes with Ninja Squid. I've also included triple sub Ink Saver main, so that if I'm attacked, I have the opportunity to let out a defensive bomb and have a few shots up my sleeve. The Ink Saver sub also helps a little with reducing the toll on my ink reserves every time I let out a bomb. And I've also included a little damage up to increase the damage and width of the bomb explosions. These subs I've chosen are mostly based on which perks I normally prefer, so as long as you've got the Ninja Squid and the double bomb range up, you're set. When starting a match, first of all, always look at which weapons your team has, where potential weaknesses might be, and what the strengths of your opponents are. You can see we're heavy on high-powered short to medium range weapon. The Splatling will hopefully cover us for some range. Our opponents are all equipped with mid-range weapons. Now, because we mostly move through ink, we can afford to be liberal with our bombs. We're almost always going to have ink with this setup, as long as we're careful. Our bomb range means we can send a bomb to the Splat Zone early, as well as attack their side of the zone from a safe distance. Heading out to safely lay down some ink before bomb rushing the point is a great way to ensure our team has control of the area, and gives a nice early push on the point. You can see I'm not just rushing the point, but also caging myself in for security. Make sure that as soon as you pop out of the ink, you move. Ninja means that any snipers watching you will have trouble tracking your movement. A great tactic is to block one end of a passage, then ninja your way behind, so you can control the direction of enemy movement. Of course, this person crackened, so we were out of luck. Don't be afraid to hold back while other people's bomb rushes or ink zookas are on the prowl. Thanks to your bomb range, you'll still be able to keep pressure on the point from a safe location. You can see I'm ducking, hiding, and bombing more than inking while I'm in the fray, so that I spend less time above the ink. Hopefully, if the enemy catches a break, you'll be there to find a safe place to bomb rush the point to keep up the pressure. You can see I made the mistake of tackling this enemy head on, and I paid for it. Feel free to use Respawn as a chance to build up a little supercharge if there are any uninked surfaces, or jump straight out if there's a safe place. Bombs can be a great way to ink surfaces to the side of the main trails as you swim back towards the zone. You'll notice how quickly I got my super charged up. Try and rush from a safe space so you don't waste your super by dying early, like that. If the enemy has control of most of the area, your ninja abilities aren't going to do much good, so use bombs to create bottlenecks and ink backwards from the explosion point. Hopefully the enemy won't rush past your bomb and you'll have a few seconds to reclaim turf. Keeping control of the area is super important for using your ninja abilities. Of course, keeping an eye on the gamepad is also important, so you don't get rushed from behind, but that's a skill that takes a lot of practice. As you approach the zone, send out a bomb to add pressure, or to give a false impression of where you're headed. If the enemy has patches of colour everywhere, find a safe space to ink from, and hide by zipping between areas of your own ink. Keep in mind that the enemy will be trying to reclaim at the same time. Use ink to position yourself strategically so you're not shooting face to face. You'll rarely lose a firefight if the enemy has to turn to start shooting at you, except where they have a Kraken or Bubbler. Always keep an eye on whether your team has control of the point. If it's safe to jump out, drop a bomb, then immediately run and hide if the space is no longer safe. Keep an eye on when comrades have shields you can take advantage of, or if they're using their super, you can add pressure in the confusion. The enemy will often completely fail to see bombs hidden in the havoc. Use bombs to block paths, claim turf, charge super, box in opponents. As suited to close combat as this setup is, the real payoff comes from having a real long-range alternative through the use of bombs. Enemies who have played a fair bit of Splatoon will already have a sense of where you'll likely be based on bomb placement, but those few extra meters this setup gives you really helps to disorient opponents. Don't worry if you don't seem to get as many kills with this setup. It's often best suited to controlling splat zones, blocking paths for the Rainmaker, or steadily clearing out the tower. I hope you've enjoyed this explanation of the Snipe Bomber loadout, and please check out theactionpointspodcast.com for more Splatoon and pop culture discussion. Thanks for watching.